everybody, it's Safi and Marco, Dish Out on the Movies. And today we're reviewing another movie. Surprise.
Another movie? What kind of movie?
A Subspecies 3 movie.
No, but what kind of movie?
A horror movie. A full moon movie.
Oh!
One of those.
Yeah!
We did one yesterday. It was The Witch House 3, Demon Fire. Now we're doing Subspecies 3. Where there were two other previous movies. And I thought it was interesting because the way they start this off is they have a recap of the second movie.
Yeah, because they know that everyone was so drunk watching the second movie that they're like, I don't remember that one.
Which I thought was nice and helpful. Probably took off some of the time, though.
And to be fair, I didn't remember it either. I remembered it, but I didn't remember a lot of the specifics, the characters and...
No, and apparently they basically have, for the most part, I'd say 99%, the same characters from the second movie.
I thought that was cool because in a lot of these full moon movies, they'll have, different people, and it gets kind of, annoying. Because, I like it in movies when you have the same people in each one. I don't like it when they change things around or for any reason.
Now, the only new people they had a violinist, they had
the CIA guy.
His name is Bob, and a couple of stray women. One was singing on the way home from wherever she got killed. And the other woman, I'm not sure who she was. She had on work clothes, like a skirt and a shirt. And she was driving a car and got out of the car, and then she got accosted. Got put in what do you call that? In the bottom of a castle. A cell. I can't think of what it's called. I'm hot. I've been out in the sun helping somebody cook. But anyway, so I don't know who she is, but that's about it. Basically, all the other characters are the same.
And to be fair, let's just get into the movie our review.
Yeah, we've got to.
Nothing really happens in this movie at all.
A few people get killed.
Nothing happens. At the very beginning, Radu takes the main girl, Michelle, to the castle.
And the mother is there, his mother.
They already know that.
Well, if they don't remember, if we didn't remember the movie, I don't know how they could.
I remembered that part.
Oh, okay. Well,
I'm doing the movie.
Go ahead.
While you're out.
Okay, Marco.
You're doing it again. Because your reviews suck. And so hardly anything happens with this movie. Radu takes Michelle to the castle. And I'm not even kidding you. The rest of the movie is literally just the main three characters walking around outside the castle. And then on the inside of the castle, Michelle is continuously asking Radu to teach her because he promised to in the second one. And I was really excited for that. The second one really set up a cool story where, it seemed like maybe it was going to get a little darker and it was going to be very interesting, her learning how to be a vampire and learning about the world that they're in. But instead, it's nothing happens. He watches her kill someone or drain their blood, and then he drains blood too, a couple of times with each other as well, and that's it. Nothing else happens in this movie. It's so lame. It's another letdown, and it is sad too because they have all the same actors and the effects are good and everything is good. It's just the script that's bad. And for instance,
well, there are a couple of notable lines.
well, and there's a spoiler. They get in contact with the CIA guy, and he's like a cartoon character.
That's Bob.
And they go with him into the castle, and right off the bat, he gets killed. And at that point, I knew at the very beginning too, it was going to be very hard to defeat Radu and his mother. And so what did they do? They pull a Witch House 3, where Radu kills his mother, and thus it's like a cop-out where, you know, the main characters, they don't have to defeat Radu and his mother. They just have to defeat Radu again. They already did that, so it's going to be pretty easy, and it is. It takes like 5 minutes. And I just thought that was such a cop-out and so shitty and such a letdown that you thought that they were going to have to struggle defeating 2 bad guys, and instead it's just the one, because they couldn't figure out a way realistically that they could defeat both or something like that. That was just shitty and lazy. I didn't like that at all.
Well, he said he had to kill his mother because she wanted to kill the sister.
Yeah, that was
vampire.
That was just the excuse that they made up,
and
I
he
hated
said,
it.
"I'm sick of it," and he rips her head off and he throws it in the fire.
That was also kind of like ripping off what he did to his dad in the first movie. Because remember in the first...
Oh, that was a long time ago.
Remember in the first movie, the opening scene is he kills his dad.
Yeah, that's right.
The guy from Phantasm. So, very, very similar. Really, really stupid. And I thought that was trash.
Okay, well, there's just a couple of lines I thought were funny. First of all, well, this one isn't quite as funny, I don't think, but it's the girl, Michelle, the vampire girl, American girl, says, "I want to learn how to fly. I mean, that's what Marco was saying, that she wants him to teach her all these things." And she goes, "I want to learn how to fly. I want to learn how to fly. Teach me how to fly." And he goes, "Well, I don't think you're strong enough to do it. I'll have to help you," or something. So they both, but before they do, they hear this violinist, and they had been showing him, he's at this like little pub, and he's playing, ethnic Romanian music, and I don't know if he's really playing or not. He did pretty good imitation of it.
How would you know?
Because I watch. I can tell. I used to play the violin.
Really?
And so...
Prove it.
Michelle and... Oh, Jesus. Michelle and Radu go to the village. But Radu says first, he says, "That violin playing is a disgrace." And I thought, it was so, like, out of character, like, it just isn't something he would say.
Yeah, because he doesn't really care about much except for getting blood. Like, he's really, really, like, just a bloodthirsty fiend.
But he brought it up before she didn't even say anything. He just said, "That violin is a disgrace." And I just thought it was funny. It was just totally out of place. So anyway, they go to the village, and of course she stands there all alone, and she kind of can hypnotize the violinist from afar, and he comes he's performing, and he leaves the performance, he walks out there, and then of course she draws him to her, and then Radu comes up behind him and kills him, and then the second thing is near the end. And do you want to say anything about the end before I say anything about the quote? It was just so ridiculous. It was really stupid.
Well, there was also
funny.
A ridiculous moment. As I said, there's not really even much to say about this movie either, since nothing happened. Like, there was this one weird. In fact, let's talk about the couple weird parts, because there was this one part where the sister and the guy, their names aren't really important.
Well, Mel is the guy.
Well, you just fucked that up. I said they're not important, so they're not
okay.
important.
Well,
they're like they get these medieval weapons that they've never used before, and they think they're going to be able to use them to defeat these vampires, and they've never trained with these weapons before, and they're just casually walking up to the castle, and there's something about, like, they wanted to see inside the castle, and it's like, they already know that Radu is in there, and the sister is in there, the other sister. They don't need to, like, stand there all day. They just need to come there to attack, and that's it. Like, the whole thing with... And then there was this stupid part where it's at nighttime, and the sister's like, I want to watch the castle. And it's like, why are you watching the castle? There's no point. You know they're in there. He's not going to kill her yet. You guys know what's going on. It would be like...
the guy even said that, I think, to her. So
yeah.
Why would we do that?
And he's like, it's gonna get dark soon, and what do you know? Seconds later, it's dark out, and they're like,
you can't see a thing. There's no lights.
And then they get back to the car, and this part was even stupider. The fucking guy, he runs his car into a tree, and then he's like, oh no, I forgot to turn the lights on. And he turns the lights on, and it's like, that's like in the Friday the 13th video game, when people would drive the car, and immediately you had these idiot players who would just crash the car into a tree, and everyone would die. That's what that was like. It was like Friday the 13th, the video game.
I think I remember that. God. Yeah, I forgot about that. I didn't even write that down, but that's a great part. That's stupid. I mean, it's just idiotic. Well, near the end, too, well, I still don't know if you want to say what happens, but...
I've already said stuff. I said the CIA guy dies.
Okay, well...
They defeat Radu because they already did it before, so it was pretty easy. Barely any inconvenience.
Before that happened, Radu let vampire girl out of the castle to see her sister if she promised to be, faithful to him forever. And you're like, are you kidding me? And I guess she agrees to do it. But she's already told him like a whole bunch of times that I will despise you forever. But for some reason she agrees because she wants to say goodbye to her sister. And her sister touches her. So she goes outside, sees her sister.
Oh, yeah.
And her sister comes up and says, she touches her face and she says, you're so cold. You're dead. I'm like, oh my God. Is that stupid or what? Yeah, I guess so. She's a effing vampire.
That line was really, really bad.
Oh, I wrote it down. It was so bad. But that other thing
you're so cold. About. You're dead.
Yeah, I wrote it down word for word.
And I was like, well, maybe she should touch her sister and be like, you're so hot. You're alive.
Yeah, really. And then she would have gone, what? No, that would have been funny. Just for fun to say that instead. They probably would have gotten mad at her, though. Screwing up the scene.
There was another weird thing of note, and it was something where it's like, look, again, I'm not complaining about whether it's in the movie or not, but there was just this really weird, funny part at the beginning where the sister sees that she has blood all over her clothes, and she takes off her clothes, and you see her full naked body for like 2 seconds, and then she gets into something else in the trunk of the car.
It's like a coat.
But it was weird. It's like she didn't have anything on underneath. Like, it was really weird. It was like just this thing. And so then she puts this coat on.
She walks into the bar. This is at the very beginning. This is like, now, it's continuing on from the second movie. This is when her sisters disappeared with Radu. And she puts this coat thing on with nothing on underneath and goes into this bar full of people. Well, pub, whatever.
You could say she's asking for it.
Oh, no.
Right?
And then she talks to the bartender that she needs to call the American Embassy. So she tries to do it, but of course there's all this Romanian being spoken, of course. We're in Romania. And so he has to get on the phone, but Yeah, that was weird. So,
and
what happens at the end?
That's notable because that's the only nudity in the entire movie. Like, it was just such a weird choice. It was such a weird and odd, like, it was weird. Like, this whole movie was weird. It felt like they rushed it out. Like, I think maybe the second one came out and this one came out a year after it. It just felt rushed. Like, they should have taken more time to write a better story than people stand outside a castle and then at the end they defeat the vampire after he defeats his even stronger mother. Because I was really looking forward. His mother is such a cool character. She's very gross and creepy, and you never get to see any battle with her.
No.
Instead, there's this stupid part where who has the gun and the silver bullets?
It was Bob's. What Bob did was his mom had some kind of antique silver tray or candlesticks.
Bob the Builder.
Yeah, and he's wearing this hat. It's like a
beret.
It's a beret, and that's where like who's that? I'm like, who's that? He has a gun and all this equipment. He has night vision goggles.
He didn't call them night vision goggles. He called them nighttime viewing devices or something.
Yeah. Anyway, he had the gun. He had all the silver bullets, and he said he melted his mom's antique, whatever it was, into bullets, and so that's where it came. So he got killed. Marco said right away, which is true, and so she had the gun, and she loaded it up with bullets, and so now go ahead.
There's something where like she shoots Radu with all the bullets, like just boom, 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 boom.
It was the vampire girl. She did it.
Oh yeah, well I don't care. Like I was like zoned out at that point. A lot of this movie was really dark too. So there was this one part where I thought that he was decapitated, but it turned out he was just laying on the ground.
I'm talking about
Mel. But it was hard to see because it was so dark.
Yeah. Then they do this thing with the darkness, and I think, it looks like, it was shot in a castle, and you're in the dungeon, and the basement, and it's dark in there, and so, you're taking your chances with shooting a scene if you don't have enough light.
Well, no, we were watching it at a time where it was hard to see it. It would have been easier in the evening.
I don't know how much easier, though. It may be a little bit, but it was pretty dark. But, they had grabbed this... remember I said they grabbed the business girl? Or I said there's another character, business girl. I don't know who she was. But they had grabbed the vampire, Radu, and Michelle, the vampire girl, had grabbed her, killed the violinist, and I thought we probably just assumed they were going to kill that girl. She's already dead. Well, she was in a cell, a locked cell, and then they got Mel, and they put him in there too, and then they put the sister in. And so she had that gun, and I guess the vampire sister got a hold of the gun with the silver bullets. And she had asked for idea, this is another thing, how does a vampire die? Is it just by standing in the sunlight or something? And he said, no, there's many ways to kill a vampire. And so... There's
also many ways to bring one back to life.
Yeah. So she's the one... She started shooting him and killing him, and she thought she'd done it because remember, these are silver bullets. For some reason in this movie, silver bullets are things that kill vampires, which is weird. And then they somehow get Mel and that girl with the business attire and the sister out of the jail cell, and so they're all running outside, and then what happens, Marco, to Radu? Remember, he just got shot a million
Well,
times.
they take the bloodstone that he worked so hard to get in the second movie, and
It wasn't much effort, too, to get it and toss it.
you just gave it up.
No, not really.
Radu is like,
I'll let you guys go if you just give me the bloodstone so that I can heal my injuries and then kill you.
Yeah.
and the sister's like,
No.
and then she throws the bloodstone, and so she throws it to where like anyone can pick it up. It's kind of like in Dracula has risen from the grave, where at the end they just push him and he gets impaled on the cross, and anyone could just come by and grab his cape and his ring and get his powder blood and take it away to do a ritual in the next movie. In fact, it was a very similar death to Dracula Has Risen from the Grave, where he comes out into the sunlight and he falls off and gets impaled on sticks.
Well, but before that, the deal is it's already daylight outside, so he runs out into the sunlight
And
to retrieve the bloodstone.
I do admit the death was cool, I guess, but
it just goes away. The coolness of it goes away when
they have this sequel bait part where
oh yeah,
his blood drips into the basement in his sex dungeon, and it forms the little demon monsters from the subspecies, and
Yeah.
they come to life, and they're gonna put them back together, and
for the next movie.
Yeah,
Because I think it's too late for the mother, but he'll be back.
I don't know. You never know with vampires; they can just.
Well, he threw her head in the fire. Unless he can do something with the ashes in the fire, I don't think he can do anything. But like you said, this is movies, so you
Maybe
never
her
know.
head is fireproof.
Oh God.
That's a rule about mummies, is that their heads are fireproof. You can't set them on fire. It has to be a demon fire. And by the way, this movie was called Bloodlust. Subspecies 3, Bloodlust.
That's right.
And that's a fine subtitle, but it really wasn't needed at all, and it wasn't really applicable to the movie. Like, that wasn't really the story of the movie. The story was keeping the girl hostage in the castle until the characters get in there and get her.
Yeah. But really, everything that we've said, that really wasn't. Oh yeah, there was a detective in it, a lieutenant.
And he was in the last movie, and I thought it was unfortunate because he did a better job than in the second movie, and he gets killed.
Yeah, that was sad.
He doesn't really.
What is it? Captain Marine.
He doesn't really do anything either. He just stands around.
Yeah, and they were one scene, another goofy, stupid, weird thing, was they were digging up a grave outside of the castle. I don't know what they thought they were going to find. They thought they were going to find a vampire. Why would a vampire bury himself outside when they have to? They can't get up. I mean, it was just stupid.
No, they were thinking they could find one of his victims. Because I was thinking if they found one, they could have probable cause to search the castle or get inside the castle.
That's true.
But I don't really know how Italian law works.
No, Romanian.
But they did find a skeleton inside this passageway. Yeah, remember when he goes in that passageway with them and there's that room?
Oh, yeah, but not in the grave, though.
That doesn't matter. Why is there a skeleton there?
Yeah, that's true. And so while they're digging, his underling cops are digging the grave. He's sitting there eating a sandwich.
Yeah.
I'm like, gross. He was actually kind of funny. and comical. And
Yeah,
I was sad that he got
It
killed.
was disappointing, and I would say that's what this movie was disappointing, because I knew that Witch House 3 was going to suck. I didn't think this would suck, though.
Yeah. So...
It wasn't terrible, though. It was just, like, not good. It was weak.
I don't think it was as bad as Witch House 3. There was a lot more to it, but they just... It was like they weren't really sure what to do and how to do it. And they kind of relied on the old things that they've done before.
Yeah.
And that's too bad.
What would you rate the movie in terms of food, Safi?
Well, I think I just rate it with a hot dog with nothing on it.
Ew.
Like one of those Italian, like Chicago dogs. It has all that stuff on it. It has tomatoes and peppers and the special relish that goes with it. And,
celery salt.
Yeah, celery salt. Mustard. And you forget to put all that on. Those are essential ingredients. And, it's not just a hot dog when you have that with all those other ingredients. So basically they kind of made the movie like just a hot dog instead of making it like an Italian dog, which is special. So.
Well, I think I gave the second movie like lasagna, like good lasagna. This movie... It would be a lasagna that comes from fucking Marion's Pizza or something. Like I'm trying to remember like which restaurants sell lasagna. Like there's
Not
obviously Olive Garden, but Olive Garden lasagna is fine. It's not terrible. And we had a really good lasagna this summer from this place called Trolleys or something. That was really good lasagna. So I would give this movie cheap pizza place lasagna, because a lot of these pizza places will have this shitty cheap lasagna and spaghetti, and they put no effort into that, and they think that like, we have to have it because we're a pizza place, and it's always just like really bad. That's what this movie is. It feels like the second one, but bad. Like, they took all the things from the second one, and they just made them bad. And they ruined the cliffhanger, too. Like, that cliffhanger at the end of the second movie, where the mom captures the sister, that was really scary. And you were like, how are they going to get her out of this one? And now, you could go back and watch the second one and be like... Ugh.
So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and if you want to become one of our subscribers, you're more than welcome, and we would love to have your feedback. And you could also, maybe you'd want to watch the movie yourself and see what you thought about it. And have you seen the other two movies in this series of vampire movies? So goodbye, everybody.
Bye!